What's up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing. Coming back at you tonight. Just want to talk to you about a little secret. I'm not even gonna think it's a secret. I think it's just one of those forgotten things that people don't remember, and that is going to be the floating worm. Tonight I'm gonna talk to you about how to hook this thing up, where to throw it, how to catch donkeys, how to catch dinks. We're gonna catch them all with this thing, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Let's go rig it up. All right, so most of you guys have probably heard about the floating worm or the methylate worm. It's something that's been around for a really long time, but to me, it's something that is actually kind of the forgotten lure, right? I actually had my buddy Shannon I was fishing with the other day, and he said, yeah, most people don't throw the pink worm. It's kind of the forgotten thing. It's kind of like a spinnerbait. It's been around forever, but a lot of people just don't use it anymore, but they're both just absolute fish catching machines. The thing about this worm that's really tricky for me is it only works during certain times of the year. You can't throw this all times of the year and get bit. You really only works in pre and kind of post spawn, and then after that it's over. So once we get into, say, May, this is probably not going to be the bait that you want to throw. But right now, as of right now here in Texas, this is the bait to be throwing. It will catch you a ton of fish. Now, a couple of different things you want to do with this is normally, well, I guess let's start off first on the rod. So when you're throwing this, you're going to throw it on bait caster, or not a bait caster, you're going to throw it on a spinning rod. I wish you could throw it on a bait caster. I guess you could go BFS, but we're going to throw it on a spinning rod. This spinning rod I have here is a 7.3 medium, I think, or a medium light, fast action. So 7.3 medium heavy, fast action, medium light, sorry, fast action. And I've got it tied on to 10-pound braid right here, 10-pound braid. And for this actual technique, I actually moved it up to 12-pound fluoro. So I've got 10-pound braid to 12-pound fluoro. So I've got heavier leader line, and then I actually do my regular line, which is kind of unique. But the reason why I did that is because I've had times when I've caught 5-6 pounders on this little bitty worm, and it totally, I mean, it's a great time. It's a fun way to fish them. But when you catch a big one like that, you probably don't want 6-pound leader, especially when you're out there jerking it around. So we want a little bit of higher leader. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on a worm hook. And if you're wondering what a worm hook is, this is what a worm hook looks like. It looks a little bit different than all those other hooks, right? The flipping hook's more like this. The EWG hook is a lot wider and it's bigger. It has a bigger gap. This is a worm hook, kind of a flat looking hook. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this and I'm going to rig it up to where I take the top of this worm and I push it just to the top of where that little where the turn is on the hook. So you see it right here. There's the turn on the hook. I'm going to pop it out, and then I'm going to push that down my hook all the way down until I get down to the bottom. I'm having a hard time holding up this rod. Let me see if I can set it down. So now we got the worm like this. We're going to pull it over. We're going to push it up the line just enough to where it covers up the top of that hook. You see that? You just got the tag line that's showing, is really all it's showing. Now that I have that, normally what we do if we were Texas rigging, we just pull that back and do it just like that, right? And that'd be a Texas rig. And that will work. If you want to do this technique that way, that works. But I'm telling you, you need some more action on this thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of funky rig it. We're going to push it up like so. Let's see if I can show this to you guys somehow. I'm going to push this out to where that bend comes way out towards you guys, right? I mean, it's going to look stupid. And then I'm just going to find a good spot in the worm where I can kind of hide that hook point. So now I've got the hook points way down here. You can't see it because I've got it covered up by the worm. And I've got this funky looking worm. I mean, look how weird that looks. That's actually how I want to rig it up. So you want to rig it up like this. The reason why is because when we put this in the water, it's going to have some crazy, crazy action to it. Now, notice I didn't put any type of weight on here. I just got the hook, that's it. The hook and the worm, that's all you need. And then what you're gonna do from there is you're gonna go out and you're gonna cast that just like you would like a frog. You're gonna throw it underneath the bushes, underneath the trees, into the grass, pull it out of the grass, jerk it through the grass. Throw it in places where you would normally get hung up. Just make sure that you keep your hook point totally covered up so that way you can throw this thing wherever you want. You will pull fish out of inches of water and feet of water by just running this right over the top of their head, and you can catch some giants doing this. Let's jump out real quick and let's take a look at some of the videos of me catching these pink worms before we wrap up this video. But guys, I'm telling you, this is the bait to be using right now. If you just want to go out and catch some fish, You cannot go wrong with the methylate worm. You've also heard it called the floating worm, whatever you want to call it, it'll flat out work. Not only that, but you can use different colors. In the video I showed you, we were using this methylate color. But I've used lime before, I've used white before, bubblegum works really well. You also have the actual true floating worms that you can use too that are made out of elastic. Those will work. I don't really care if it really floats, because the way that I'm working is I'm throwing it out, I'll let it sink down just a little bit, and then I jerk it twice, let it pause. Jerk it 3 times, let it pause. Jerk it once, let it pause. Jerk it a couple times, let it pause. Almost like you would as a jerk bait. So you're working this worm as if it were a jerk bait. And then if you do that, you'll see on the video here where you can see me, I'm reeling it and then just kind of jerking a couple times. Reeling it, kind of jerking a couple times. And every time I jerk it, I'm going to point the top of my rod back towards my worm, just like I would a jerk bait. So I'm either gonna, go straight down, jerk, jerk, back up to the worm, jerk, jerk, back up to the worm, jerk, jerk, back up to the worm. If you keep that kind of cadence going, of course you want to kind of change it up, right? Jerk, 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 back up to the worm, jerk, jerk, back to the worm, jerk once, just kind of make it all kinds of erratic. They will come out and you will see them explode on this. They'll actually come up from the bottom of this thing and come up and hit it and explode out of the water trying to attack this. It's crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. Guys, I hope this helps put you on some fish this weekend. Make sure to go out, pick you up a package of those Zoom methylate worms, the Zoom methylate trick worms. Get you some worm hooks, some 2/0 or 3/0 worm hooks. That's all you need, that and some spinning gear. You're gonna catch some fish. Talk to you soon. Bye.